Hi guys, thank you very much to the Institute for letting me come up here and speak to you guys. First of all, I know that a lot of you are probably asking the question, why is there someone from Dell Computers standing in front of a room of accomplished merchandising professionals? And I understand that, right? Dell's more known for selling servers and storage and PCs than they are for really doing merchandising. So, but the truth is, I think that, and we believe at Dell, that companies like Dell, technology companies, consumer electronic companies in particular, can play and should play a specific and focused role in bringing new technologies into the store, into the merchandising, to help the shoppers through the purchase path and through the purchase funnel. Specifically in our category, I'm going to talk about one execution today and how we're moving, using that execution to move our confused shopper down that purchase path to a point of clarity. First and foremost, I want to wave the flag for Dell very briefly. Dell, we like to think of ourselves as one of the pioneers of shopper marketing. To a degree, we've been doing shopper marketing for 30 years on one-to-one sales, customized solutions for shoppers through our Dell Direct business model. We also have a wealth of shopper insights that we've amassed over the course of the last 30 years from that direct business model that we have, that we're able to leverage when we go out to our retail market, our retailers, to actually perform good shopper marketing with them. We also have a very unique position in that we are both a direct retail e-commerce site and a direct, where we also do phone sales and text sales, but we sell through retailers, Best Buy, Walmart, Staples, you name it, we're selling our PCs through them. So we have a very unique position there. And our goal from a shopper marketing perspective is to become the #1 partner of choice in the consumer electronics space for our retailers. But we realized, even though we do have a mass of information from our years of history, we needed to go back out and reach out to our shoppers to understand the retail space. So about 2 years ago, in late 2014, as we were pushing into shopper marketing, we did our first ever shopper insight study with Kantar Retail. We surveyed 1,000 shoppers, 50% purchasers, 50% intenders. We asked them 120 different needs and asked them to rate those needs in terms of importance, as well as how their retailers were performing against those needs. And we've used this data for the last couple of years to really develop very specific and targeted solutions for our retail partners. One of the things, a few of the insights that we kind of stood out that I want to talk about today from that research was that 2/3 of the shoppers in our category felt they had much to learn throughout the shopper's journey. Actually, at the end of the shopper's journey, still 2/3 were saying they didn't have all the information that they wanted. They didn't get all the answers to their questions. They made a purchase in some cases without knowing everything. And the purchase in our category, just to make sure we're on the same page, our average price is $500. It could go up to $1,000, $2,000 for a purchase. Would you purchase something like that without knowing all the information, getting all your questions answered? Well, the reality of it is these confused shoppers are also 37% less likely to purchase, so we're losing a lot of them for that exact reason. The confusion is actually making many of them walk away. It's a very complex category. I think everyone in here can understand that, but it's actually hurting us in the long run. This theme of confusion and information, need for information and assistance, extends to what the shoppers are looking for from the retailers as well. Shoppers look for retailers that listen and understand their needs, answer all their questions, provide helpful information that leads to good decision making, helps them compare, narrow down for the best options for them, and then provide one-to-one technical expertise and brand knowledge. And if these needs are all met, 89% of shoppers said that they were more likely to buy. So if you can meet those needs, the whole thing flips around. A high percentage of them will purchase. And of those folks, 54% said they would buy immediately if a needs-matching device or a device that met their specific needs was found in the store. So it can be overcome. They're telling us what to do. The question is, how do we do it? The equation is really quite simple, right? Shopper confusion plus the limited, well-informed assistance in the store. The truth is, most retailers haven't cracked the code on this. Some have. Best Buy is doing very well in our space, right? They've got their blue shirts. They educate them well. They stick around for a long time. They don't have a high degree of turnover. But most retailers in our space are just the opposite. High degree of turnover, don't educate their folks real well, and therefore you've got limited folks on the show floor, and the ones that are there might not know the products as well as they need to. And of course, that leads to what we talked about, this unmet need, where we got two-thirds, almost 70% of our shoppers feeling confused through the purchase journey. So at Dell, we've designed a solution that we're going to talk about a little bit today that leverages Dell's core strength in direct one-to-one sales. We've got 30 years history there. Our folks are the best in the industry in terms of qualifying the shopper, working them through the purchase path, and selling to them. Our omni-channel expertise, their ability, our direct sales force ability to leverage the content online and to work that into the sales motion is top-notch. Some new and some common technologies we're going to work into our solution. Proprietary software we've been developing over the last 2 years with a specific user interface, and then powered by Dell technology. The name of the solution is what we call the Virtual Sales Assistant, or an acronym of VSA. Let me just walk through it. In its essence, this is a mock-up of our prototype. In its essence, the Virtual Sales Assistant allows for a shopper with one touch, as little as one touch, to almost instantaneously connect to a Dell sales associate states away, halfway across the country, who can walk them through making sure they answer the questions, work them through the actual sales motion, work them till they find the right solution, and then help close that sale in the store. Let's talk about the technology a little bit, then we'll walk through the features and functions, and then some of the user interface. And I'm going a little quick, so bear with me. I'm going to run out of time today, I have a feeling. So, but the technology, first and foremost, you need an integrated webcam. Right? This is an IP phone call, basically, a web chat. This current webcam is fixed. Next version will have the ability to pan and tilt remotely from the sales associate so they can make sure they're getting a good shot of that shopper, whether they're 6'7" or 3'7". It's got a monitor. It's got to be touchscreen. You'll see the interactions that take place here. It can be larger or smaller depending on execution. It's got directional emitters at the base down here. Those are basically the speakers. Who here knows what has worked with emitters at all in the past? Emitters are, let me explain it to you. They are basically like a beam of sound. And if you're standing in the beam of sound, you can hear it crisp as can be. You take 2 steps out of the beam of sound, you literally can't hear a thing. And it's an amazing new technology that was actually derived from some military technology. But this allows for a couple things, and we'll talk about what the benefits of that are. Of course, we've got the Dell OptiPlex small form factor PC that's buried in the guts of the display. It's a very small, very powerful device that's able to run this software completely without interruption. And of course, you need internet connectivity. You need 3 megs up and down at the minimum. Features and benefits. So we talked about the instant assistance, this live one-to-one contact with the Dell expert sales associate. The key thing here is that the labor model, the labor savings that you get from this model are significant. In the physical space, of course, you're stuck with one person per one store. You can't split a person up and send them to multiple stores. In this model, we can have 10 Dell sales folks sitting in Austin, Texas, and covering 100 to 150 stores, which is pretty unique. Multilingual. I'll show you how this works, but within the user interface, they have a chance to choose their language. When they choose the language, they automatically get connected to a rep that speaks their language, starts the conversation in their language, pulls up content in their language, makes the shopper actually feel at ease to go through the process. Comfort of privacy. We talked about the emitters. Emitters have 2 benefits to them. One is that the shopper feels as though their conversation is somewhat private. You can only really hear it if you're standing right next to them. Number 2, you guys all know this, but in-store sales reps hate displays that loop content, loop sound over and over again. When they're on the job, man, they're hearing that thing a million times a freaking day. And what happens is they end up unplugging it, turning it down, or doing something to disable it. These emitters, if they're not standing right in front of the display, they're not going to do that because they're not going to hear it. You're going to have a lot more of these things that can actually stay up and running throughout the whole cycle. Information access. One of the key benefits of this, manufacturers like Dell, and many of you, I'm sure, spend a lot of money on creating content, posting it onto our retailer sites so that the online shopper can use it. Well, guess what? Now they're getting on their smartphones to use it. This allows the Dell sales associate to bring that right up onto the screen, to leverage that content, that rich content, the ratings and reviews, the videos, all the stuff that we spend so much time and effort to put onto the site, but do it in the store at the point of sale. Connected support. At the end of the transaction or end of the conversation, we can send that content that we finalized on directly to that shopper via an email or a text message. I'll show you how that's done. Co-browsing. The shopper, we put the power in the shopper's hands. It's a touchscreen for a reason. The actual shopper can navigate the web as we bring it up. If the shopper wants to reach out and touch something they like and scroll over to another page, they can do that. Our folks realize when to step back and let the shopper drive and when they can drive. Basket building, of course, the The endless aisle, important to all of us. In our category, especially so. Inventory is high in cost. The buyers in our retailers have a specific strategy, of course. They want to buy the product that is the most mass appeal for the store, so that people come in and buy that. But they also assort online step-ups, in some cases step-downs. They might put a slightly higher processor online, or a slightly bigger hard drive, or more memory, and which you could step them up to $50 up, $100 up, $200 up. This allows that sales rep to look at the assortment in its entirety and to sell that shopper on the assortment in its entirety, not just what's in store. So you're actually taking advantage of that fully. Team support, the in-store training, the in-store staff, the in-store sales staff, like I said, they're not very well informed in many cases. In some retailers, they can actually use this to train themselves. If they have a shopper who's asking them a question, they don't know the answer, they can go over and touch the screen and ask the Dell person the answer. And off hours or off not such busy time periods, they can walk right up and actually use the interaction for training purposes. Content management, another really unique feature of this. The content management overlay allows us to turn on and off the interactive functionality during certain times of the day. When it's busy, you want it on. When it's not so busy, you might want to turn it off and just use the display, the digital display, as looping content from product videos and things like that. You can control this each day of the week, different times, keep it on and turn it on and off when you need to, as well as push new content down to the device. Sorry. And in-store notifications. Closing the loop, right? One of the limitations of this device is the Dell sales rep can't reach through the monitor, grab the product on the shelf, and hand it to the guy and walk him up to the register. We can't take the sale at the display at this point in time. But what we can do is we can have a predetermined list of people who can contact by store location and actually send a notification to the store and let them know that there is a qualified shopper ready to purchase a $1,000 PC standing at the Dell display right now. Please walk someone over there, grab them, and walk them up to the register, get on their PC. Much of our inventory is actually locked behind cages, so that's a requirement for us to be able to close the loop. So, let me show you a little bit about the user interface. This was originally the first start screen on the user interface. As someone walked up, we realized it really didn't do the job. It didn't really tell what this thing does. So we had to create an attract loop. Let me share a video real fast, what the attract loop looks like.
Hello out there. I'll just be hanging out in here. So if you have any tech questions, need help PC shopping, or want any recommendations, just touch the screen. Ask me anything. Compare models. Learn about features. I'll be waiting. This thing on?
There's our vendor funding right there. So the next screen that once they touch the screen, they get to one of two choices. They get to either go to this screen. This is depending on the execution. We'll make the choice for them, I guess. We could actually list the languages that we have available to them. We have this list from a show that we did that was a global show. Generally speaking, you might just have 1 or 2 or 3 languages based on the demographics of that particular store. They would touch this, and then right away they'd get connected to an agent. The other option we have is something we call Select Your Agent. This is a really unique one. We're testing this. We're looking forward to testing this out in the market. Basically, it allows the shopper to choose the sales rep they want to talk to. Something that shoppers never had an option to do before, right? Sales rep walks up to you, taps you on the shoulder, starts talking to you in the store. You can't tell him, sorry, I'd rather talk to that person over there for whatever reason. Interesting thing, right? Whether you want to talk to Daryl because he's from Texas, you've never been to Texas, you want to see if he's got a southern drawl, or from Richard because he speaks Spanish. Do you want to talk to Maribel because she's got only 2.5 years experience and she's not going to, make your head spin with tech talk? Or do you want to talk to someone who likes baseball or craft beer? Or maybe just someone who's got a friendly face. Whatever the reason being, you touch the screen, and immediately you hit this screen for about 8 to 10 seconds, and then you get a smiley face, a Dell live sales rep answering the call, welcoming you and asking you how he can help you with your PC purchase today. These guys are experts, like I said. They usually spend about a minute connecting with the shopper, asking them qualifying questions. What are you going to use it for? How much are you willing to spend? Things along that line. Your standard questions that they're experts at. These guys know how to do it. At this point, they bring you out to the web. Right now, I've got Walmart. This will be the retailer that the display is within. They'll bring them to the actual e-commerce site and start navigating, looking for the product that meets their needs. They'll leverage all the content online, and when they find something, they'll ask them for their phone number, enter their phone number or email address, and immediately, within seconds, they get a text message to their phone, which allows them to source that content, source that page, that product page information whenever they want. We've also, if allowed, with the retailers, able to bake in coupons that could be scanned at the register or online coupons for free shipping within a certain time period potentially to try to urge them to finish up that shopper's journey and close that sale. They hit a thanks screen and they're done at that point. Let me talk a little bit about a couple things here. Number one, we can skin this however we want. We've got 3 versions. The one we just saw was consumer. This is our small business version. Then we've got our Alienware gaming version. All the same screens. Very easy to skin and change the graphics on that we can use across the board. But how are shoppers reacting? We've got one execution right now in B&H Photo in New York City. I want to show you a little bit about what's going on there.
I would, but it costs money. So I'm going to go back to, I think we go back to
What was it that pulled you over?
Well, there was someone else who seemed to be getting some very helpful advice.
Okay.
And my sense was that this might be fun for me too.
Okay. What was it?
So that's the nice part of it, and then also just for the interesting part of it, that it's kind of a new approach that people would try it out.
Excellent. Okay. But how different is it from most displays that you would see in the store?
I've never seen a display do that. So
Doing what?
you could go to a display and have a live person on the other end.
Yeah.
Actually,
How different is this from the other displays you see?
Oh, very different because it's an immediate response. You're getting a quick response.
We've seen a lot of folks kind of being shocked with delight that it was a real person as they touched the screen. Comments like this: I would not have gone to Amazon and done so much research had I known I could come into the store and do something like this. Or, I do like how easy it is. Like, I guess you just tell them your needs and they show you the options without you having to guess. I mean, it's pretty intuitive, pretty simple, right? We've learned this over the 30 years of selling directly to folks. This is what they want in our category. So the data actually validates this as well. 63% of folks that we surveyed said that they would be very likely to use this in stores. 65% would recommend it to others. We have 52% of users would do this on multiple trips, and 45% would choose a store that offered a VSA over another, all other things equal. And you heard this one, 78% felt that the virtual sales assistant was different than any other display that they had seen in the market today. So pretty groundbreaking. We think it's, again, not necessarily groundbreaking technology, a good integration of multiple technologies. But the question becomes is, does this translate into other categories? We think it does. Right? We think that any category that has unmet needs where they might be able to leverage knowledgeable experts, not necessarily technology experts, to educate and to form, to curate, to inspire, categories like wine, right? A wine expert who can help you, get through that, cut through the selection process there. Or fresh fruit and vegetables where they can actually help you with, potentially a chef to help you with meal solutions. We've got other categories we've thought through, right? We've talked about baby today and pet, where you could actually probably have a veterinarian or something like that. This has got great application, we think, across the board, and we're going to continue to push it. But I'm running over. I apologize. I'll pause there for any questions.
So I had a question. How are the retailers responding? Like, I mean, have you started the sell-in process yet, and what's been their feedback and response?
We have. The response is fantastic. I don't think there's really only been one retailer that wasn't jumping up and down. That's because they've got their own assisted sales model. But surprisingly enough, we're looking at them for integration with small business and potentially Alienware. Some of those niche markets, even the big boys are jumping up and down and thinking it's a good fit. Now, the challenge is the technology. It's just getting into a store where you can actually get a wired internet connection, which is the optimal thing, although it can go wireless and it can also go cellular. But the wired is what we're looking to do. So we've got a couple other retailers lined up for Q4 executions and a couple more on the docket for early part of next year. So, yes, sir.
With someone else other than Dell?
We have not yet. No. So again, we're very early in this technology.
So do you expect that are you going to expect that you want to engage retailers, or sorry, not retailers, but other manufacturers, like you were showing the wine? You see a business coming out of this for Dell?
We not necessarily a business, but we are open to sharing the technology and working with people. I don't think that that is necessarily a business line that Dell wants to jump into right now. We've got enough on our hands with the EMC merger and other things going on. But it is an interesting opportunity for us to get the Dell technology out there and to benefit the industry, truthfully.
Jean Hong from Nielsen. So the representatives, do they do comparison on only Dell computers or across all the different computers?
Depends on the execution. They will do comparisons across any product that the shopper wants them to do comparisons across once engaged. We are talking about, in some executions, it's just an end cap where it's only a Dell product. In some executions, we'll look to have that in the inline location, behind the actual inline where we have multiple brands. And we would actually be the sales support for the whole category in that sense. Yep.
And a follow-up question: have you thought about offering this through like an Amazon where consumers at home that have a webcam can also have this virtual shopping experience?
Well, I wouldn't say Amazon as much as Dell.com, but yes, but yeah, on Dell.com we have. We're in discussions around that. Yeah. Not read yet. Honestly, we've had the B&H one in market only for a couple weeks at this point. This is very early on, and we've seen similar. We're expecting to see good lift in the category in the 30 to 40%, if not more, range. What we know about our folks is that they can close sales in the 60 to 70 to 80% when people call on the phones. These guys are good at what they do. They really are good at what they do. So if we can get people to interact, we think we can close it. Now, like I said, there's some hurdles in terms of closing that final last step, the actual transaction, and we're working through that. I think when we get that figured out, we're going to see significant impact at the shelf. Yep.
How does it work when you go to the store and if B&H doesn't carry a model or a product that the consumer wants, the shopper wants?
Yeah.
And they're in that conversation. How does that work then from a retailer perspective, getting credit for the sale? Are you now shifting them from purchasing in the environment to now it's a direct purchase? How does that?
Yeah, we train our reps specific to the retailer that they're supporting. And what I mean by that is the B&H reps would never take the shopper to Dell.com to close a sale because B&H didn't have it. They will stay within the B&H assortment. If at some point they got up to that instance where there was not something that fit their needs, we haven't really run into that, truthfully speaking. They've got a big enough assortment online, we can generally find one that fits their needs pretty close. Yeah. So. Yep.
Just because your item's a high-ticket item,
Yep.
so we're talking entry level is what, $500?
Yeah, on discount and Black Friday, $200. But yeah, generally $500, yeah.
So what's your thought on how you could execute something like this on a smaller scale for like an HBA item that's $10?
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that can be done?
Yeah, I don't think the technology, again, we can get into the cost of it offline, but once implemented, it really comes down to the labor cost more than anything. So the question becomes: is the labor cost that you're supporting on the back end of the call, will you be able to offset that with the lift in the category and the margin in the category? And again, we don't have the details on the lift for our category. I would assume the lift might be different for other categories as well. Yeah, the hope is, though, that the labor cost savings, and the lift that you would get from the category would actually benefit. Oh.
Other questions for Dan? Let's thank Dan for a great.
Thank you very much.